Remembrance Sunday. Remembering is such a complicated thing, isn't it? Of course, we remember, particularly at this time, those who've served in the armed services, because the First World War came to an end on the 11th of November 1918, and that date has got anchored into our national culture, and so we include in it other wars and other things of that sort. But we, especially at the present distance from the First World War, and indeed the Second, from that distance we bundle up, when we think of remembrance, all sorts of other things in our lives, and it's very good to remember both the bad and the good, and especially to remember the good, because that reminds us that mostly the good overwhelms the bad, and it is the good in most cases that lives most strongly within us. And as we think of the good of the past, so we are more open to seeing the good of the present and looking ahead. And looking ahead is something we all have to do, isn't it? You can't drive a car by looking at the rear view mirror. You have to look ahead and navigate whatever comes along the road. So we need to be ready too for what lies ahead, including the unexpected. And that's really the theme of Jesus' parable today. We've been looking at a number, haven't we? Well, let me read this parable, which he tells shortly before his arrest, according to Matthew's Gospel. Here it is. At that time, Jesus said, "The kingdom of heaven will be like 10 virgins who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish, and 5 were wise. The foolish ones took their lamps, but did not take any spare oil with them. The wise ones, however, took oil in jars, but did not take, along with their lamps. The bridegroom was a long time coming, and they all became drowsy and fell asleep. At midnight, the cry rang out, 'Here's the bridegroom, come out to meet him.' Then all the virgins woke up and trimmed their lamps. The foolish ones said to the wise, 'Give us some of your oil, our lamps are going out.' 'No,' they replied, 'there may not be enough for both us and you. Instead, go to those who sell oil and buy some for yourself.' But while they were on their way to buy the oil, the bridegroom arrived. The virgins who were ready went in with him to the wedding banquet, and the door was shut. Later the others also came. 'Lord, Lord,' they said, 'open the door for us.' But he replied, 'Truly I tell you, I don't know you. Therefore keep watch, because you do not know the day or the hour.'" That's the parable. And the way Matthew writes it, Clearly, the point that Jesus was trying to make was, you don't know when the Messiah will come, so be ready for him. And that's what we have to do, to be ready. It's not clear quite how we are to be ready. Jesus doesn't give us a nice, neat recipe. And people have wondered about this parable. Some have said, oh, the wise virgins had their spare oil with them. That was their good deeds. So they were really very good little girls, or bigger girls, and could rely on their past actions to get them into the feast. But other people say, no, that's not right. What is needed is openness to God, trust. And the foolish virgins hadn't trusted enough. They'd just been haphazard and gone along. But the wise ones had filled their lamps with the oil of trust. So nobody quite knows, but it doesn't get us away from the fact that what Jesus was trying to tell us, what Matthew explains, was Jesus saying, was to be ready. Just a pause, perhaps, to think about remembering. And as I said earlier, particularly at this time, we remember the First World War. And along with the First World War and the countless numbers who were killed then, also other wars. But it's good perhaps to think particularly of the First World War. And I thought of a song, Roses of Picardy, which you may have heard, which I thought we could listen to. It's not a jolly marching song, it's a reflective one about love and war destroying it. So let's enjoy that now.